Goeiemorgen, good morning, Dumela, goedemorgen, salamat. This tutorial is to show you how to make a gift bag like so from old books. You could use the gift bag to put your gift inside and gift it to somebody, as is normal with gift bags. Or you could also make a whole variety pack of gift bags and give them as a gift to someone else to use for gift bags. One of the advantages of making your own ones is that you can keep the money that you have for the gift actually, instead of the gift bag and the card and all those kind of things. Also, you can adjust the gift bag to suit the person. Old sheet music, an old art book, nature books with pictures of animals or plants or so on, or even encyclopedia. The encyclopedia I got here from a charity shop. There was only one volume of the set available. The rest of the set is gone, it's like disappeared somewhere along the line. And so I should address then possibly sensitive matter. One of the materials you will need is a book that you are willing to rip apart. Now, very young me would have been very upset about the idea of ripping books apart, but when books have been sitting in a charity shop for so long that they are getting moth-eaten on the sides, and obviously nobody is going to be using them as a book anymore. Now that I'm getting older, I feel that it would be better for the book to have a second purpose in life. You can see this is the one that was all that's left of the encyclopedia. And let the book have a second purpose in life if nobody's going to read it as a book anymore. And perhaps, this sounds a bit grim, but let the book die a dignified death and actually be useful other than sitting on the shelves, never being bought and be eaten by moths until it gets thrown away. So, yeah, anyway, that is my philosophy. It may be because I'm getting older. So you will need some book that you are willing to tear up and turn into gift bags. Other than the book that you're willing to tear up, you need something with which to fold. I'm using a bone folder, but the back side of a spoon, because it's round and hard and it won't damage the edges where you're folding, but help make the edges clean. You'll need some sort of glue, whatever you like, preferably a paper punch, and optionally, if you want to use some ring reinforcements around the holes will give the bag a longer life. And then lastly, some kind of string or twine or yarn or whatever you want to use to make the handles. That's all you're going to need. How to make the gift bag. First of all, I suggest getting a book that is in its binding has string on the inside, so that you can take out the whole double page at one time without tearing the pages. That will give you a much larger page. You can see where the book is bound in little packets. So you go towards the middle of one of those packets, and then I've cut all the string so that when you take the page out, you can take the whole page out in one and have a large sheet of paper to work with. Find the piece of paper that you're going to work with. And first decide which side of the paper you want for the outside. I'll keep the name on the outside, and so whatever is going to be the inside should be facing you. Then fold over a seam of about 1.5 to 2 centimeters. That is about 1/2 inch to 3/4 inch, I think, if you do American. You can use your bone folder to make the edge crisp, or as I've mentioned, the back of a spoon, because it will help giving you a crisp edge without having any kind of side that's damaged when it scratches the paper. That seam will help to reinforce the top when you make the holes in it, so it doesn't tear out when you put a gift inside. Step 2, fold it over the midline by around 1 centimeter. 1 centimeter is about just a little bit less than ½ inch. Then fold the other side with the same amount over the midline. So that they overlap the midline with about the same amount. Now, put some glue on the one side of these and maybe a little bit on the inside of the other seam, so that when you fold it in half, you can overlap that seam and get a very neat edge. If you're doing multiple gift bags, it would be a good idea to fold a number of them up to this stage and set them to one side for the glue to dry. We'll just hope that the glue has dried quickly. Step 3. So step 1 was folding over the seam. Step 2 was folding over the midline and gluing it together. That will form the back of the packet here. Now we will work on the bottom. To do that, fold up, not where the seam is, but the bottom side. The seam will form the top. Fold up this bottom, and here you have some adjustability in terms of what size you want the packet to be. If you fold a small seam here at the bottom, you will have a taller packet, but it will also leave you with a narrower packet. It will have a smaller bottom side. If you fold it up a lot, which you can do to create a short but a much wider packet. Okay, I'll just randomly choose a depth and fold it, and this was about 6 centimeters for this one. Then open this crease, make sure that corner makes a sharp corner, and fold it to make a triangle so that this fold line here aligns with the middle where it's opening. That way you don't have to measure anything, you can just fold it where it lies and it will still align. Then fold up this with just less than 1 centimeter over the same midline here again. And again fold the top half with the same amount. So if this one was folded up by 1 centimeter over the midline, then this one is folded down also with 1 centimeter over the midline. Now make sure all these creases are nice and sharp. And back to the glue. Glue this overlap together. This is the second and last time that we will glue anything together. So the first glue was the seam on the back. The second glue was for this seam here. Just to refresh your memory, you fold it up by a certain margin, then open up that fold aligning the fold line with the midline on both corners. Fold up just over the midline with around 1 centimeter, and then fold down with the same amount over the midline again. And that way, when you glue it together, this will all be equal to the midlines, and you'll see why that is necessary in a moment. Now I'll move to one of these that has been glued and the glue is dry already. So we have now finished making this bottom part of the parcel, of the bag, but to make the sides folding in, so let's work on that first. I'm going to turn the page just because it's easier to fold, but we are going to line up this corner where we've made the fold, that corner, and make a straight line up towards there. It's easy to see that you have it straight because it will form an exact line, and you can fold it straight all the way up. If you feel better, you can measure everything, but that will kind of make it take very long and slow. And do the same on the other side. Right from that bottom corner, which will fold up over the top corner and will align with that fold there, all the way, straight line, oops, up to the top. This paper is a bit harder, so I have to, it's from the encyclopedia, so I have to press a bit harder as well. And you will get this. You're back to a rectangular shape. When you folded them the one side, then just turn it over and also fold them to the other side to make it easier on yourself for the next step. Okay, that was the end of step 4. Step 4, folding in the sides. Step 5 is actually to punch the holes while it is still all lying neat and flat, is a good time to punch the holes. You can use this midline as a reference point on your hole punch if it has one. And so it will go through the entire double seam that we folded down from the top, all the layers at one punch. Okay, that was step 5. Step 6 is opening it up. You press your hand in and you open up this, and just gently with your fingers on the inside, make sure that all the seams open up. And now you have the box. If you want to store them all folded flat again like this, then you will need step 6 to fold them all back down the inside, fold and fold, and then when you come to here where you folded it, just fold it gently and it will make that signature fold of gift bags. The last thing we will do, I have mentioned that optionally you can use some ring reinforcements. These are see-through, so it's kind of hard to know when they're there. Around the holes to reinforce them, as it says by this very unimaginative name, self-adhesive ring reinforcements, usually used for papers that go into a ring binder. First put on the ring reinforcements and then use your string and measure. whatever the inside where you will tie them, and then the amount that you want the bag to go up for the height of your handles, and a little bit extra to tie the knots. These I have used 30 centimeters of string. If you want the handles to go up longer, you can use more, and if you think you need more extra to tie the knots, you can also use more. Whatever you choose, just make sure that the two strings are the same size. We'll go with 30 centimeters again. For two handles, stick them from the outside in and tie the knot. A crochetier's invisible knot will be a good knot to tie in here, which is the one that I've done over there. Or if you don't know how to do that, you can just tie an overhand knot, or maybe a Scout's flat knot. Any knot that will secure the strings on the inside. I do have a video for how to tie an overhand knot, and I will soon make one how to tie the crochetier's invisible knot, if that is what you want to do. Two knots tied on the inside. The handles are ready. When you put your gift in, you have your very own gift bag with whichever paper you prefer to use. And they can all store flat, or you can make a packet and give them as a gift to someone else who don't want to fold their own gift bags. I hope you will find this useful. Please don't stone me to death for tearing up books, but I was very hesitant to start doing that. On the other hand, I do feel that the books are now useful instead of sitting on a shelf until they completely fall apart. Until next time, have fun crafting.